Tonight on CTV News at 6. It's a grim picture.
I'd be hard-pressed to see any other real progress.
Homelessness in the north jumps more than 35% in 1 year. They were caught off guard.
But it came almost 2.5 years early. That was shocking. I'm not prepared for that.
A session in Sault Ste. Marie for workers awaiting layoffs at Algoma Steel. And they are piling up.
It's a little bit difficult to compare the two apples to apples.
The province made a change, and now used tires are stacking up.
CTV News at 6 with Tony Ryma and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. Thanks for being with us on this Wednesday. A new report finds homelessness in the north has skyrocketed when compared to southern Ontario. The numbers reveal that housing supply, prevention initiatives and support systems are not meeting increasing demand. CTV's Eric Tashner has more.
Homelessness in Northern Ontario has increased by 37% from 2024 to 2025, according to a new report which studied Ontario's homelessness data. The rate is much higher when compared to the rest of the province.
Disproportionate would be a reasonable term to describe the numbers between Northern Ontario and Southern Ontario.
A report called Municipalities Under Pressure 1 year later finds that while Northern Ontario represents 5% of the province's population, it now accounts for nearly 10% of all homelessness in Ontario.
There's a lot more collaboration and coordination happening among partners in communities. That being said, I'd be hard-pressed to see any other real progress.
Indigenous people account for more than 40% of homelessness in the north. In just 1 year, the number of people experiencing homelessness in Northern Ontario rose from 5,900 to 8,100.
Investments in the heart hubs is a good first start in the province, but we know that there aren't heart hubs everywhere.
The report finds the crisis is shaped by structural housing shortages, not short-term disruptions like job loss, and that a limited availability of affordable housing hinders people's attempts to get off the streets.
We need to dig deep into those federal, provincial and local pockets and start building more houses.
We do have a proposed meeting with Rob Flack, who is the Minister of Housing. That would be through NOSDA.
This pressure contributes to longer shelter stays, increased chronic homelessness, and rising system costs across health, emergency, and social services.
All these studies and reports that go back, emphasize the system and the problems that we face.
Beyond its human toll, the report also finds homelessness is undermining economic stability. Northern Ontario municipalities are absorbing rising costs for emergency shelters, healthcare, public safety, and encampment response. Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
A murder trial in Sault Ste. Marie ended yesterday when the accused in the case changed his plea to guilty. Stephen Jones of Toronto admitted to killing a 22-year-old woman and stabbing a man in June 2023. Jones pleaded guilty to second-degree murder in the death of Taylor Marshall, who was stabbed in her apartment. He also pleaded guilty to attempted murder for stabbing Liam Frenette in an attack that took place the same day on the city's boardwalk. A Gladue report has been ordered, and the case returns to court January 21st, when a date will be set for sentencing. One person has died following a fatal two-vehicle crash on Manitoulin Island last night. It happened around 5:30 along Highway 540 between Emery and Robertson Roads in Gore Bay. One of the drivers was pronounced dead at the scene, while the other was taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Two people faced drug trafficking charges after an investigation in Sudbury uncovered $31,000 in cocaine, fentanyl, and oxycodone. Police say the illicit drugs, along with $12,000 in cash, were found after a search of an apartment. One of the people arrested was a 21-year-old from Sudbury. More delays in the construction of the school in Parry Sound have the province terminated its agreement with the contractor of the new building. Education Minister Paul Callander made the announcement in an open letter to parents on the Near North District School Board's website. The new JK through grade 12 school was supposed to be ready last September, but the board announced in August it would not be ready in time. The delay and the way it was handled prompted an investigation into the board, which led the province to take control. Minister Callander says several factors went into the decision to terminate the contract and adds the goal now is to find a new contractor so the school can be ready for September. You can read more on this story by going to our website, CTV News Northern Ontario.ca. There have been 13 snow days in Timmins so far this school year, but an area school board says it's pleased with the number of students who have shown up, especially after the big blizzard at the end of December. When more than 60 centimeters walloped Timmins on December 29th, District School Board Ontario Northeast says by last week, attendance at Timmins schools ranged from about half to 85% of the student population. Timmins High and Vocational School pivoted to online learning, but as of this week, it's back to the classroom.
We have an attendance initiative. It's called Attendance Matters. We're in year 4, and we've really tried to highlight the importance of attending school. In fact, if a student misses a day of school, there's some research from Godfrey and Ansary that says they miss almost a day and a half, if not 2 days of learning. So there are great things happening in our classrooms, even if it's a small number of students. So we really encourage our students and our families to have their children come to school.
When transportation is canceled due to weather and poor road conditions, schools remain open so students can still attend. 1,000 Algoma steel workers are set to be laid off in just over 2 months. Today, Sault College hosted a session to help those employees understand their options. CTV's Corey Nordstrom was on site.
Last month, 1,000 Algoma steel employees were given layoff notices effective March 23rd.
I knew that the situation will come, but as the plan was like it will come, this kind of thing will happen in 2028. I was prepared for that, but it came almost 2.5 years early. That was shocking. I'm not prepared for that.
To prepare those employees for their time after the steel plant, Sault College has hosted 4 information sessions. On hand to offer support, officials with the newly opened Steelworker Power Action Center, employment professionals, and college staff.
We offered information in a classroom about employment supports available, the programs we offer, and then accessibility into them through our academic upgrading or through continuing education. And then we opened up a fair style type of information so everybody can talk one-on-one about their own personal situation so that we really are delivering support in any way that might be needed.
So far it's been really helpful. We've got to hear a lot of different ideas, different perspectives, a lot of different people to talk to about what might be available both for retraining or trying to immediately get back into the workforce.
Among the first steps was the advice to contact or visit the Action Center at 68 Dennis Street.
The Action Center itself actually opened up on January the 5th. It's manned. We're still ramping up, but we're actively engaged with all the employees of Algoma Steel that received notice, as well as suppliers who have been impacted by the downsizing Algoma as well.
Kirkland suggests laid-off steelworkers should visit the Action Center as soon as possible and not wait until their employment insurance nears its end before acting. He advises them to bring their resume and any training documents they have to help with their job search. Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie.
Now let's talk about the weather conditions. The temperature has really dropped and the wind has picked up. With more on that, here's CTV's Rick Wyman.
Oh, lots to talk about this evening, Tony. Big change in weather like last night. I guess when we get to the current temperatures, is going to be a big difference of, let's say, -4, -5 last night in some sectors across Northeastern Ontario to now -31, 32, 33 with the wind chill. We'll get into that shortly. Your system's map now. Another system moving in by Friday. Some periods of snow, of course, and warmer temperatures. But right now we've got the wind chill in effect for this evening. And tomorrow we'll get to some of the current temperatures. Big changes across the Northeast, but again, wind chill in effect for tonight. Overnight, we'll get through that. Then some sunshine for tomorrow. And again, the wind chill also in effect. So, Tony, some details coming up. Got to warm up. That's the key for this evening. Back to you.
Thanks for that, Rick. Not much clarity still to come on CTV News at 6. We head to Callander and plenty of questions surrounding 2 resignations on council. Right now, though, we are taking a live look at the town dock in Parry Sound. This webcam is courtesy of Northern Creations. It's currently -10 Celsius. We'll return after these brief commercial messages.
Fuel your Fridays with CTV and Pure Country. Enter online for a chance to win a $100 gas gift card. Fuel your Fridays. Powered by CAA. Life isn't one size fits all. Neither is CAA.
Time now for a look at the mayor's chair. Once a week, we check in with local mayors to see what's happening in their community and some of the situations they're dealing with. Joining us tonight in the mayor's chair is Mayor Dan O'Meara from the town of Temagami. Mayor O'Meara, welcome.
Yeah, welcome. Hi, Ian. Always nice to talk. I just want to send a big hello from Temagami to you and your viewers. As you can see, we are into winter. However, there's always something to do in the Temagami region. So looking forward to our chat.
Absolutely, and it's always so much fun speaking to you. And I was telling you, this might be one of the most action-packed mayor's chairs we have because you guys have so much going on right now, and I'll get right into it. A TV show, a big American TV show just finished filming in Temagami. What can you tell us?
Well, yeah, this summer we had a series called Extracted. It's a Fox television survival competition series that places untrained participants in remote wilderness locations where they must endure challenging conditions with limited resources. Family members or friends are also located nearby in a remote command center and are tasked to assist and assess their loved ones, and when required, they can get them extracted to safety. Last one out gets $250,000. I encourage everybody to go watch season 1, and that was filmed in BC. This one was filmed in Temagami, and it actually brought in almost $2.8 million was spent in putting this on. And you know what? Temagami now is on the will be watched by other film industries, and we're trying to encourage that and become part of that, because Temagami has a lot to offer when it comes to what we have to offer in terms of our area, and we're pretty excited. And the Season 2 is going to be aired January 26, 2026, 8 p.m. on Fox Network. And we want to make sure everybody's watching it because it was filmed in the north.
I love that. Like you said, it puts the spotlight on not only Temagami, but the Northeast. It's going to be fantastic to make sure to watch. The one thing I was also telling you about, I don't feel like a real northerner yet because I have never tried Temagami Dry, and that's making a big comeback. What can you tell us?
Well, here it is, Temagami Dry. We've got the launch. It will be in North Bay on February 26th. It's a new company that bought the Indian Shield Beverage Company. At one time, you would have had Temagami Dry, and you know what? Temagami Dry was known, and it's still known. I get calls all the time about it, and we're so excited to get that product back on the market.
And like you said, it supports local, so that's amazing.
And it's Canadian, and it's 100% Canadian.
100%. We're quickly running out of time here, but I want to make sure I get a quick question in about the Northlander. All of the North seems to be pretty excited about this train making a return, but it will also be stopping in Temagami. What's that mean to you and the residents there?
Well, I think it's a start. Temagami, some of the times aren't, it will be later at night, but having a link to Toronto is really important to everybody. And, I think we just got to encourage everybody to use it. We get the ridership up. They could change schedules. And you know what? That's how Temagami started. At one time, a train came from Temagami, stopped in Temagami, and you got on a boat to visit some of the resorts. So we're really excited about seeing the Northlander back. And those trains look great.
Temagami Dry, Extracted, and Ontario Northlander. Lots of stuff going on in Temagami. Mayor Dan O'Meara, thank you so much as always.
Oh, you're welcome. And, make sure if you're driving through on Highway 11, stop in to see us in Temagami. We always look forward to people coming and visiting, and you'll have a great time. And drink Temagami Dry.
I will for sure. I can't wait. That's Mayor Dan O'Meara from Temagami.
Thanks for that, Ian. A few details were released at a council meeting in Callander last night as the town continues to deal with the lack of a mayor and councillor. Deputy Mayor Jordy Carr chaired the meeting. During it, she revealed the issue is now before an independent integrity commissioner. Former Mayor Rob Noon and Councillor Irene Smith surprised many with their sudden resignation on December 19th. No formal explanation has been given to date, and Carr admitted in her remarks she understands this is frustrating for the community.
I want to acknowledge a significant public interest following the recent resignations. I understand that people are looking for clarity at this time. An independent integrity commissioner process is underway. And out of respect for that process and our legal and privacy obligations, Council is not able to comment further. What I can say is that Council has been acting on legal advice, fulfilling its statutory responsibilities and prioritizing the stability of the municipality.
Council was also provided a report asking how it plans to fill the vacancies before the fall election. Staff will revise their report and come back with options for a future meeting. Solutions could include appointing a candidate from the 2022 election, appointing someone known to Council, creating an open application process, and holding a by-election. A change made last year to provincial legislation surrounding tire collection is causing an excess of stockpiles. As CTV's Madison Merrier tells us, tires are piling up in a greater Sudbury community.
After 1 year with a new tire recycling amendment in Ontario, tires are piling up. According to the Ministry of Environment, Conservation and Parks, as of January 8th, the ministry determined that the William Dade Construction in Isilda was storing more tires than permitted under its environmental compliance approval. The company has begun removing tires, and volumes are expected to continue declining in the coming weeks. CTV News reached out to William Dade Construction but did not receive a response by our deadline. Experts say the issue at hand is before January of 2025, 85% of used tires were collected by weight and amount to be recycled each calendar year. But after the amendment, that dropped to 65% yearly until 2029.
It's a little bit difficult to compare the two apples to apples because you go from 2 targets to 1, but most certainly the 65% target that was introduced was lower than the tire generation in the province of Ontario, which has led to some of the large-scale backlogs and surpluses that we have in the province right now.
Moffat said the challenge is the backlog, and it's extremely difficult to clean up.
The challenge there becomes, how do you mitigate this going forward, especially with the spring tire season coming, our second busiest time of the year? And I would say, based on the amount of tires that are in the province, we will not be able to get the province cleaned up before the spring rush hits, which will put us even further back again.
Tire manufacturers are responsible for collecting the used ones, hiring pros to meet requirements. Moffat says they're supposed to start collection again this year, but it hasn't come to full fruition yet.
One of the growing concerns that we have with that is if it remains stagnant as it is right now, I'm not sure that enough tires are being collected today to even keep up with the generation of new tires, let alone the inventories and the large stockpiles that are carrying forward from last year.
Consumers pay the recycling fee with their initial purchase. However, once pros and producers meet the 65% quota, tires may continue to pile up. Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sudbury.
The Temagami Region Conservation Authority is one of the conservation authorities in Ontario that will be impacted by the province's amalgamation plans. Ontario wants to combine 36 conservation authorities into 7 large regional areas. Local officials with the MRCA oppose the new model, saying the concept doesn't make sense to join other conservation authorities that are so far away. They say they have a good working relationship with the city of Timmins, and only 5% of their overall funding comes from the province. Most comes from the municipality, permit fees, and grants. Between now and the spring, the province plans to review consultation results and finalize governance structures.
Our watershed is a little different. We run north to James Bay. We're the only one of the 36 whose waters run north. Everyone else, all the other 35 conservation authorities run to the Great Lakes or St. Lawrence. So we have nothing in common from a watershed basis. So provided they're looking at some logistical enhancements or synergies, we already do that with our municipality, and we're not sure how that's going to enhance what we do and how we do it with partnering us with other conservation authorities that are hundreds and hundreds of kilometers away.
The province says it wants to streamline operations, but it is reviewing feedback to determine next steps. A statement from the Ministry of Environment, Conservation and Parks says, in part, to be clear, conservation authorities will continue to provide the same programs and services they deliver today. Their mandate, service areas, and funding models will remain unchanged, and boards will continue to be municipally appointed. Back now for a check on your current conditions. Here's Rick.
Tony, there are some people who actually like cold weather. I had one of my weather watchers at a local coffee shop in Greater Sudbury on Lawrence Street today at Country Style saying that, yeah, no problem with the cold weather. Okay, here we go. More cold weather coming your way just for you. Forecast radar, we get a bit of a break in terms of snowfall and precipitation for tomorrow. Mainly sunny, but cold. So if you like the cold weather, and there are people who do, enjoy your time. Current temperatures, big change from last night. As I said, big discrepancy in terms of what you're seeing tonight with the wind chill compared to last night. Minus 22 in Moosonee, minus 31 in Cochrane, minus 33 in Timmins. This is all with the wind chill, so don't be offended. Minus 30, some fog in Kapuskasing, minus 31 right now in Chapleau, minus 30 Wawa, minus 22 in Sault Ste. Marie. People appreciate hearing the wind chill numbers as we've got them going. Minus 7 in Parry Sound this hour. Meanwhile, in North Bay, minus 24, minus 27 in Timiskaming Shores. Kirkland Lake, minus 30. Minus 27 Greater Sudbury, minus 24 Espanola, minus 26 Elliott Lake, and Gore Bay at minus 25. Your 7-day forecast numbers, Tony, coming up.
Thanks, Rick. Mark Carney is in China. Next on CTV News at 6. The Prime Minister looks to bring down the temperature of trade relations with a superpower. And the heads of Sudbury's colleges and universities take center stage at a chamber luncheon.
Abused for years by a monster.
Why isn't anybody coming?
Behind the worst mass killing in Canadian history.
As soon as he said it's too late, I thought I need help.
Sunday night, right after the game on CTV and Crave.
A historic moment with a Canadian Prime Minister on Chinese soil for the first time in almost a decade. Trade, energy, and agriculture are on the table, with Mark Carney hoping for a breakthrough on those punishing tariffs. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver has that story.
It wasn't long ago that Canada called China a disruptive power. Now the language has softened as Prime Minister Mark Carney's government looks to bring stability back to a frigid diplomatic relationship.
This is a new government with a new Prime Minister, a new foreign policy. In this moment of economic stress for our country, it is necessary for us to diversify our trading partners.
And Carney has made it clear that rethinking includes increasing non-U.S. exports through deeper partnerships with countries like China. And over the next few days, the Prime Minister will be pitching Canada to business and government leaders as a place to invest.
I think that this was a really important opportunity to reset the relationship at a time when we're obviously dealing with a much tougher United States and where our Canadian national interests have to be rethought.
A key area of debate and likely disagreement, Canadian tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles and Chinese tariffs on Canadian canola products. Government officials say it's reasonable to expect progress on so-called trade irritants, but the definitive removal of tariffs is unlikely.
Our ultimate goal is to restore market access to China, have more smoother, predictable trade with our number 2 export market. And so we're looking for signs of progress and resolution on that front.
While that resolution may not happen, Ottawa is framing this business visit to Beijing as a stepping stone on a larger plan to normalize relationships and help reopen lines of communications. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Beijing.
Amid ongoing tensions between Canada and the U.S. over the Trump trade war, some Canadian snowbirds are reevaluating their winter getaways, while others are looking forward to another trip south next year. CTVnews.ca interviewed a flock of snowbirds about their experiences with their American properties. One couple said they no longer feel welcome in the U.S. and are now spending the winter in Mexico. Another snowbird says he still enjoys staying at his vacation home in Florida, but his biggest concern is the exchange rate. A survey by Snowbird Advisor shows 70% plan to spend this winter in the U.S. compared to 82% who spent last winter down south. That's a 15% decline in year-over-year snowbird travel to the U.S. The heads of Sudbury's post-secondary institutions were front and center at today's Chamber of Commerce luncheon. While conversations around higher education have recently focused on the impact of the federal cap on international students, today's conversation centered on retaining talent in the North. CTV's Amanda Hicks reports.
It was a full house as leaders from Laurentian University, Nossum University, Cambrian College, and Collège Boreal gathered for the Chamber of Commerce President Series luncheon.
I think it's important for businesses in the community to know and be aware of what's going on at the local post-secondary institutions. We're in a knowledge economy. The more education the workforce has, the better equipped they are to contribute to it.
Today's conversation centered on recruitment and retention.
Getting our learners out into communities, particularly for extended periods of time, is the biggest impact in what careers they choose and where they choose to live. So for us, it's maintaining that distributed model, and it's very successful for us. If people do both their medical degree and their residency training program with Nossum University, almost 90% of them remain and work in Northern Ontario long term.
Having those placements, who are non-paid placements, so giving that student an opportunity to get that practical experience to actually meet employers, and vice versa. The employer actually has an opportunity to work with the students, not just in the interview process, but really get to know that individual. And a huge percentage of that time, those employers are hiring those students.
All post-secondary institutions have officially signed a memorandum of understanding, signifying their commitment to work together on that front.
So for example, students start at Cambrian, may finish a degree at Laurentian. Some students might start at Laurentian and come to Cambrian for a grad certificate. If students can access all of their needs and wants within one city, then we'll retain them.
But while the long-term outlook is collaborative, a short-term cloud hangs over the city's largest campus. Laurentian University's Faculty Association is in a legal strike position as early as Monday.
We understand that, this can be an anxious time for students. I think it's really important that they watch the messaging coming from the university where we can provide more guidance in the case that it's needed.
With the post-secondary landscape continuously shifting, the Chamber says the bridge between campus and the business community has never been more vital. Amanda Hicks, CTV News, Sudbury.
The past year was the third warmest on record, according to new data from the European Climate Agency. Copernicus data indicated 2025 was around 1.47 degrees warmer than pre-industrial levels. At the current rate, the 2015 Paris Agreement's long-term global warming limit of 1.5 degrees could be reached by the end of the decade, about a decade earlier than predicted when the pact was signed. Canada is warming faster than the global average too, leading to more wildfires, heat waves and storms, and an increase in loss of snow and sea ice. And there's more news still ahead, but first, here's your full weather forecast with Rick.
No doubt about it, Tony. Climate change affecting what we endure winter, spring, summer, and fall. Forecast radar right now, kind of cold, very cold this evening with the wind chill. And of course, our forecast radar right now, we've got a bit of a break in the action right now with sunshine and colder temperatures for tomorrow. Very cold today with the wind chill. That trend will continue in tomorrow, except you get some sunshine for a change. And then we've got some snow on Friday, periods of snow. And of course, warmer temperatures around -7 degrees. Overnight conditions in Greater Sudbury you can see the various degrees of wind chill right across the northeast with Sudbury, Sault Ste. Marie, Timmins, Temiskaming Shores, and North Bay. Some of those temperatures are nasty and will be with blowing wind, and as the wind continues throughout the northeast, again you got -30 in Moosonee, Caphurst, Wawa, Gore Bay, and Perry Sound. Perry Sound an additional 2 to 4 centimeters of snow. So again, wind chill in effect for this evening, continuing overnight. It'll be cold. For tomorrow, Greater Sudbury Nickel Belt sunshine. We've got -15, periods of snow on Friday. Saturday, chance of snow. Sunday, chance of snow, and the chance of flurries on Monday as well. -10 and -14 degrees heading into the start of the week. Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, sun and cloud tomorrow, -11. Periods of snow on Friday. Chance of snow Saturday and Sunday. And Monday, Tuesday, you've got some cloud cover at -11 degrees. Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, sun and cloud tomorrow, -17. Chance of snow on Friday. Chance of flurries for a couple of days at -15 and -19. Then come Monday, -18. More of the same on Tuesday with some sun and cloud. How about Temiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake? We've got clearing tomorrow, -15. Chance of snow Friday, chance of snow Saturday, and the chance of flurries on Sunday. You go from -7 to -10 to -15. Monday, cloud cover -15, and Tuesday, some sun and cloud, -15 degrees one more time. Then there's North Bay, West Nipissing. Mainly sunny tomorrow, -13, but take a look at the evening temperature, -24 degrees. Nice turnaround on Friday as it warms up with the snow, periods of snow there, -8. Chance of snow Saturday and Sunday. Chance of flurries on Monday as well at 40%. -14 degrees, and Tuesday some sun and cloud, -14. Cold at night at -20, -19, and -18. How about the pick of the day right now? Have a look. Don Boucher driving on Highway 64 in Field. Nice setting sun. Nice contrast with the snow and, of course, the trees and what have you. So, again, Don, appreciate that. Perhaps your pick could be on tomorrow at this same time. Stick around. Sid, really, we have a great story. Lindsay Alick takes a look at a veteran battling homelessness and how he won that battle. That's coming up after the break.
In Sudbury, the Homelessness Network is hoping to highlight the success of its Veterans Homelessness Program. CTV's Lindsay Alick met with one of the veterans who has received assistance.
Drew Beaudin joined the Canadian Armed Forces at the age of 19, serving from 2008 to 2011.
There's a lot of highlights, but I'd have to say the biggest one was getting sent to Ottawa as part of the Governor General's Foot Guards.
He says he left due to changes in the pension plan. Shortly after, he decided to join the Millwrights Union in Sudbury.
Having hearing loss from the training in the military, I had a very difficult time, so unfortunately I didn't make it past my probationary period.
In January 2025, he says he was living in Sudbury housing when his rent was raised dramatically.
I was on geared to income supplement, so I went from $115 a month up to $1,050. Not being able to hold down a job, I simply wasn't able to afford my rent.
He says at that point he knew he would have to move out. He ended up being homeless for a short time until a friend stepped in.
He was very kind to me and let me stay in his camper. No electricity, no water, but I was right up the road from McDonald's, so I was able to scoot down there and use the Wi-Fi and get stuff to eat. Wasn't the best, but it was certainly better than being out in the cold.
He says he lived there for a few weeks before being connected with the Veterans Homelessness Program, which has been successful in housing 11 veterans since it launched in October of 2024.
We're really happy with that so far. We're really hoping to promote the program so that more people who might not know about their options yet know about what's here in Sudbury to support either homeless veterans or persons who are at risk of homelessness because of affordability.
The program is made possible through federal funding, which will continue until 2028. Meantime, Beaudin says he is currently taking a university course and volunteering at the Lockerbie Legion on a regular basis. Lindsay Alick, CTV News, Sudbury.
We have another lottery winner to tell you about. Congratulations to Adam Moreau of Hornpain, who won the Lotterio jackpot of more than $737,000 in the November 29th draw. The father of two says the win is bittersweet because he recently lost the love of his life. However, he plans to travel and invest his winnings. Be careful and do your homework. Still ahead on CTV News at 6. Our health reporter has part 3 of her series on things that can go wrong if you get surgery in another country. In sports now, one game last night in the NOJHL. The matchup involved the French River Rapids, who were in Powassan taking on the Voodoos, and it was a high-scoring game, but the Voodoos came out on top 11-5. The Ottawa 67s left Northern Ontario this weekend with a little more than their 2000th franchise win. They left with a taste of Indigenous culture following a stop on Manitoulin Island. Supporters from all over the island played host to the players who were in the region facing off against all 3 Northern teams. There was team building, smudge teachings, fire building, Eagle staff teachings, archery, and a culinary competition. Sudbury's pro basketball team is on the road for 3 games this week in the Basketball Super League. In a game that began at 11 this morning, the Five beat the Lake Erie Jackals 124-103 to improve their record to 3-1. The Five play in Windsor Friday and Kitchener-Waterloo Saturday. In the first 2 parts of our series on medical tourism, we've heard warnings from both a patient and doctors as to what can go wrong when you go abroad for medical procedures. But who is held financially responsible when something goes wrong? Here's CTV's Pauline Chan.
When Nicole Grigorov set out for her mummy makeover in Costa Rica last fall, she thought she had insurance. But when she developed sepsis and nearly died, she found out she wasn't covered.
Actually, I have 2 forms of insurance, which I thought were suffice. I have the travel medical insurance, and I also have insurance on one of my credit cards. And one of them is critical illness and disability, so I'm arguing with them right now.
I get calls from time to time from people asking that exact question, and I explain to them absolutely not. And other scenarios too, like heart or cancer or anything out of the country that you are going to, knowingly that there will be a surgery or a treatment, is absolutely not covered by an insurance company.
The Ontario Health Ministry says some forms of cosmetic surgery are actually covered by OHIP, saying OHIP would provide payment for out-of-country cosmetic procedures should they meet specific requirements as outlined in Regulation 522 of the Health Insurance Act, adding, under which surgery for alteration of appearance may be a benefit. Some examples include repair for trauma scars, removal of large benign lesions, post-mastectomy breast reconstruction, etc. But not the kind of cosmetic surgery Nicole had. Patient M recently went to Turkey for several procedures, including dental work, hair transplant, and a tummy tuck, knowing insurance would not cover any mishaps. On his flight back, he developed fluid buildup in his abdomen. It took 3 procedures over 2 weeks to clear it. But despite the complications, he's happy, saying, the estimated cost savings compared to having the same procedures done in Canada were significant, likely close to $60,000 to $75,000 for all the procedures. Both M and Nicole say mishaps do happen, even in Canada. Nicole looked into suing the Costa Rican clinic, but was told the time and expense for an overseas case would not be worth it. The clinic promised a refund of the $20,000 she spent on the surgery, but she has yet to see a cent. The loss of her fingers and toes would make running her resort business up north too difficult, so she's planning to sell it. And her family has set up a GoFundMe to help with expenses in the meantime.
I try to do some of my makeup and my hair with my niece, but, you know, I'm trying to do things for myself, but it's going to definitely be a forever process.
Grigorov says looking back at her ordeal, the cosmetic surgery seemed so unnecessary now, but she wants to tell her story to make sure others are informed.
Any surgery is a risk, and I really didn't have to have a mummy makeover, and I know that. I just wanted to look better and feel better about myself.
Pauline Chan, CTV News.
In consumer news, home insurance rates have been rising steadily due to extreme weather, inflation, and the rising cost of home repairs and construction. Auto insurance premiums have also been on the way up due to auto theft and the rising cost to replace and repair vehicles. CTV's Pat Foran has details.
Frank Cassano of Oakville is growing frustrated with his annual insurance costs. Despite having no claims on his home and auto insurance and keeping a clean driving record, his insurance goes up every year.
When I got my new rate for the car insurance, I freaked out.
Cassano says over the past 3 years, his home and auto insurance have almost doubled. From October 2024 to October 2025, home insurance premiums jumped 6.8% and auto insurance went up 7.3%. Over the past 5 years, home insurance has risen almost 39% and auto insurance premiums have increased almost 19%. Cassano says someone who is claims-free shouldn't constantly have to pay more.
I don't want to be paying for anybody else's. I want to pay for my own. If I get into an accident, yeah, then you raise my rates. But if I'm clear every year, I shouldn't be able to get an increase because of the theft that's going on. It's not my problem.
Year over year,
For both home and auto insurance, we saw increases.
The insurance industry says inflation, tariffs, and natural disasters such as wildfires, hailstorms, and flooding are leading to huge insurance payouts. Homes are more expensive to rebuild and repair. The price of new vehicles has also increased, and the cost to repair them has gone up as cars become more technologically advanced.
What could be a minor fender bender, 10, 15 years ago for like a bumper that maybe cost $500 to replace. Now that's $1,500, $2,500, potentially more.
While remaining loyal to your insurance company has benefits, if your premiums go up dramatically, you may be better off shopping around.
So it really is in the consumer's best interest to take the time to shop that rate.
Well, you should look around.
Cassano switched companies and saved $1,000 on his premiums. Still, he wants the government to investigate to make sure consumers are not being overcharged on their home and auto insurance. Pat Foran, CTV News.
In entertainment news, a new movie about the king and a new queen at the box office. Here's David Daniel with the Hollywood Report.
There's been a lot written and a lot said, but never from my side of the story.
The official trailer is out for Epic, Elvis Presley in Concert. Director Baz Luhrmann follows up his 2022 dramatic feature on Elvis with a documentary concert film featuring previously unseen archival footage and unheard interviews with the King. Epic, Elvis Presley in Concert debuts on IMAX screens February 20th and in wide theatrical release a week later. Oscar winner Zoe Saldana now has another title, highest grossing actor of all time. According to box office website The Numbers, her films have grossed $16.9 billion worldwide with the success of Avatar, Fire and Ash. The Avatar, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Star Trek franchises have helped to boost that total. The previous record holder was another MCU actress, Scarlett Johansson. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Chorus is reporting a revenue drop of 18% as the entertainment company deals with slumping ad income. BNN Bloomberg's Marella Fernandez has more.
Chorus Entertainment reporting a loss of $11 million in its latest quarter. And that's compared to a profit of about $12 million a year ago. The company is in the middle of restructuring with its TV and radio businesses struggling. It's hoping to reduce debt by more than $500 million. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar almost unchanged at 72.03. West Texas Intermediate is up to 61.88. Western Canadian Select is up almost $1.50 to 46.46. And the TSX gained 46 points to hit another record close above 32,900. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marella Fernandez.
Here are the current prices for some key commodities we watch. Gold up $34.55, closing the day at $46.2129 U.S. an ounce. Silver up $5.83, ending at $92.76. Copper moved ahead 2 pennies, closing at $6.08, and nickel down 27 cents, ending the day at $7.79 U.S. a pound. And Rick is back now for one last look at your Thursday weather.
Lots of sunshine, but colder weather for tomorrow, Tony. Let's take a look at some of the temperatures that you can expect. -15, Greater Sudbury, sunshine. Sun and cloud in Timmins at -17, and Sault Ste. Marie -11 with the sun and cloud. How about North Bay -13, mainly sunny skies. Parry Sound, well, flurries. You've got some flurry activity for tomorrow, some sunny breaks. And -15, Temiskaming Shores. Gradual clearing. Enjoy the sunshine. We're back to periods of snow come Friday, but warmer temperatures. Tony?
Thanks for that, Rick. And finally, compatibility is key when deciding who to date. But you could say a BC man took it to the next level. CTV's Adam Sawatsky explains.
If Graham McCarthy was asked to answer a multiple choice question about the best beginning for a love story, he likely wouldn't have picked officiate a fish funeral.
Yeah. Say that 5 times fast. Yeah, officiated a fish funeral. That's what I did.
That's what the pastor was doing when he met a friend of a friend for the first time named Katrina Froese.
So it was fun that he showed up and he had a whole eulogy, and that's the kind of humor that I was like, all right, I can get behind this.
So when he eventually asked her out, Katrina said yes. But then Graham sent her a survey to fill out. about her preferences for their first date.
I thought it was a joke. I didn't think he was serious, but then he really wanted me to answer the question. So I was like, okay, guess this is real.
The mostly multiple choice questions range from what kind of food she wanted to eat to her preference levels of fancy schmanciness, from pajamas to a dress, suit and tie.
Purely efficiency. Had a lot of questions, didn't want to send a lot of text.
Well, Graham also hoped it would be charming. And after they went to a dinner and a movie, and he presented her with a post-date survey, Katrina agreed it was. And then she posted it on social media.
Within like a couple of hours, it like blew up.
While the post earned more than 10 million views, the couple learned they were compatible in countless ways. And after dating for a few years, Graham asked Katrina to stop in the middle of a hike to look at her phone and fill out another form.
That basically gave a survey of how he's been doing in our relationship.
After answering them all positively, Katrina read the final question: will you marry me? As you can see, she said yes. And then a few months later, they both declared, I do.
It was awesome. It was like super sweet.
Oh, it was incredible. It was the best wedding I've ever been to.
Although Graham hasn't sent any other surveys since, both he and Katrina are committed to keep having fun and always consider each other's preferences moving forward.
Like, don't seek your needs, seek the other person's needs, and if you're both doing that, then everybody's needs will be met.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Vancouver.
And folks, thanks for watching CTV News at 6. I'm Tony Ryma. More news comes your way at 11:30 with Ian Campbell. Have a good night.